Hey all, Chamberbrake here. Sorry, I got something in my throat that's just not going away, so I sound kind of odd today. Anyway, I'm in an 8295 John Deere. We are pulling a 2700 chisel plow. And it is night, so I apologize, but work during the day. This is the best time for me to do a video. I want to do a review of this tractor. This is a brand new one. It's got 148.7 hours on it. Integrated built-in monitor here. Other than the old tractors, you have a separate screen up here and whatnot, which you've probably seen in my my other videos, my other 8520 video. So this is quite nice because it's over here. So just a minute, I'm getting my auto steer set up. So all right, so what we got here is a very nice tractor. The only thing it doesn't have is the refrigerator option, which goes over here, down in there. But other than that, very nice. We are demoing this tractor. So I want to thank Ken Feld, Steve Layfelds, over at the Ken Feld Group, John Deere dealer here in our area. What you see right here is the monitor. I've got basically my acres per hour set up here. I've got my swath set up here, which is showing me in the blue line, and then I've got my gallons per hour that I'm burning. Down here it shows my auto track, my guidance, so I can click on all that, click that off, turn my auto track back on, hit the auto button, which I love the location of this. In my 8520 I have a pedal down here, which I had them put in many years ago, and I do somewhat miss that because I just keep my right leg here all the time. But other than that, it's pretty nice. So what we do have that I absolutely love, this has both the standard transmission and the IVT. So in the IVT, I hit the 1 or 2 button here, and if I hit that, it will go into basically like an auto transmission, and it will show that up there, so I can hit that. Right now I'm in 8th gear, and now I'm in 7th, and if I turn this little knob, nothing happens. This is the IVT, so I hit this. Now I'm in IVT, and I can adjust my speed, and it will adjust the transmission automatically, as you just heard it do. Now I can slow down my speed, and it adjusts everything accordingly. And basically now I'm going 2.6 miles an hour, and it's keeping my RPMs and everything where it needs it to be. Okay, so it's got that built in. It's got the 1 and 2, which this is basically a second gear. I call it a second gear, but basically it just speeds me up. Takes me to, if I'm out on the road and I hit 2, then I can go that much faster. Now if I hit that button again, it goes back to my old transmission, which was set at that time. Now if I hit the switch, oops, there, I didn't have it off there. Now I'm back to my old transmission. The gear I was in, I guess, not the old transmission. And we are chiseling. Now I do have the auto steer in. Some of the things I absolutely love about this, and this has been around for a while, but it's not in my 8520. Auto differential lock, absolutely essential. This tractor has row crop tires on it, and it specs out, I believe, at 295 horse to the PTO. It does not have, really, in my opinion, the right tires. If you need me to get the tire number on it, I can. I just don't have it on my. It doesn't have the right tire number for me, the tire width to be chiseling like we are. The tractor has more capability than it's putting down to the ground, in my opinion. I've always been a big fan of duals on the front wheel assist tractor. Anything over 200 horsepower, I think, must have duals. My opinion is you prep the soil for the dual in the back, because that's where you're putting your horsepower down. If you have a single tire, then that outside dual is basically on virgin dirt, and I don't believe that you get as good of a smooth consistency. And I absolutely love the duals, putting more weight on the front, more horsepower on the front. But with this auto differential, I do like that, because in the old tractors or previous tractors, you have to hit the button down here, and then it turns off when you hit the brake or you turn. Hit the brake, not when you turn. Other than that, you got a small air conditioning, heating over here. It's all been integrated to something quite a bit smaller. You got your flashers, integration, and everything is up here on the monitor as well. So I can go back over here and I can change all of this stuff however I want. I can see rear PTO speed. I can see my pressures on my hydraulics. One of the things I like when I'm chiseling is I like to see my slip. So it's showing me I'm getting 12% slip. Again, if I had a little better tire for working dirt and this type of dirt, that would probably be a lower number, meaning I'm putting more horsepower down to the ground. You do have a max engine speed here, which you can activate down here, which I actually like too. And you can set that to a different number if you want, and kind of go from there. We had an 8225R, and that was set. And I went and pulled it out of the dealership, and it would only get on the road at like 16 miles an hour, and I was so frustrated. I was like, how do you spend this kind of money on a tractor and then it won't go down the road faster than that? Turned out the rev limiter was basically on her. That's what I call it. Oops. If you have cameras, I just hit the lever by accident. If you have cameras, they activate here and you can see the screen. Oops, that's not it. And then your cameras would be on here. So basically you can modify this screen in a myriad of ways. See a lot more information, see all of your gearing, whatever you need to be in. See the height of your 3-point. You can go in here and see the weather and your RTK and things if you have that set up. I have Bluetooth set up for both my phone and the music, and with the very large footprint you have in the cab, you could do, get ready to turn here. One thing I do not like about it is the turning radius is not what I prefer. We have 2 John Deere 8520s, and I like the turning radius a lot better on them. And I'm not exactly sure what the idea was behind the turning radius, but I do have a feeling that, again, it's kind of related to maybe the front wheels and the location. They have them turned in because they're set up for row crop, which minimizes your turning. And so it does seem to turn kind of like a bus, and I'm not accustomed to that in John Deere tractors. Our 7920, our 8225s, they all seem to turn a lot quicker than this one does. All right, so back to the transmission. I'm basically just running it in manual here, and I'm just shifting into the gears. These new engines, you can push them, and eventually it'll just lower its RPMs down to kind of protect itself until it just basically puts itself into park. Old tractors would just straight up stall, which is, of course, probably doing damage to the engine. So you can just kind of go from this, which is very nice and very convenient. You got your throttle here, which you just leave on. And then again, if you want to have the tractor basically maintain what it's doing, you just shift it into auto, and there, now it's into auto. And no matter what I do here, I just took it back into manual. So now it's in auto, and I just turn this little knob, and now I can slow it down. It slows its RPMs down. It's more efficient, I guess you could say. But you can also then continue to go up, and nothing happens. The tractor basically sets its where it believes it can handle its the load. Now we are chiseling, so we're under extreme load. So in this case, the tractor is doing what it needs to. It just shifted down all by itself because the RPMs drop below 1750. Up here you have auto mirrors and a radio. That's fairly nice. I've always thought in tractors that radios were in a terrible location. I think they should be down here somewhere because you're bouncing around all the time. It has sunshades, the usual stuff like that, and which I also find just a good pair of sunglasses takes care of. Down there you got some USB ports and some AC jacks. And other than that, nice little seat for people to sit and enjoy. It's a very large cab, a lot of visibility. I apologize again because it's dark, but I'm trying to just do what I can with the time we have the tractor, as we're just demoing it what our 8520 is in for repair. But it is brand new, 148 hours. And again, it's driving by itself. Now it's getting ready to probably shift down into 10, which it just did. And if it continues to drop even further, it'll shift itself down even lower into 9. You can set an incredible amount of settings in here. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can do everything you can on this monitor. This is a great location. I really like the location of this. The series before these, it was a little bit smaller, and I don't know, I just really like this location. I like how quick and the visibility is, and I like where everything is located. You've got your auto front wheel assist, but you can put it on manual differential. I have it set to auto. Why not let the tractor do what it needs to do? My opinion on things like this, when you're spending $300,000 plus on a tractor like this, I like to push it to the very edge and then just drop back just a little bit. If it continues to succeed, then it's got some viability. This tractor would be a great asset on many operations, but for us to use it for chiseling with this tire configuration, no front duals, probably isn't the best option. It would be fine for somebody with that maybe has a small amount of acres, but then the cost is really counterintuitive. It has a lot of bells and whistles. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I had no training on it, just decided to get in and set up the field, and I set up the field and everything over here. You got lots of setup screens, pretty counterintuitive. One thing I do like a lot is how intuitive everything is in this monitor. And when these things first came out, man, 25 years ago, they were so not intuitive. You couldn't find menus. You had these little knobs you had to dink around with all the time. Just a waste of time. But this stuff is real counterintuitive. I mean, when I sit down and I want to do something, it's basically right where it should be, in my opinion. That's why I call intuitive programming. And it's very simple, very quick. This is all very, very well laid out, very comfortable. The seats are about the same as they've been for the last, 15 years, or at least I feel that way. You do have a lot of light configurations, which you can set up on your light 1 and your light 2 here. This has a full light package, and it's just awesome. You still have the manual lights here, but at the same time, you can do everything that you need to there. It just popped up. You can set that up and actually configure it into to what you want it to be, for high beams and low beams, to the type of lights that you want. You can lock that in place. Just awesome in that regard. So I think it's a great tractor. Again, I want to thank Ken Feld for letting us demo this, and it is very costly for what you're getting. I do think the 8520 puts a lot more horsepower to the ground. It's somewhere around 260, and this is 290, so 270 is probably what the 8520 is. And I do believe for chiseling specifically, you just have a lot more traction. And at the same time, you got to know what you're getting. These more modern engines, and they've been around for quite a while, but they do a lot of their own sensing and a lot of their own protection, I guess, because you can take an old engine and just drive it, as hard as possible, and pull things apart, break things, whatever it might be, if you have enough horsepower and traction to the ground. And so these new engines and all the technology in them, they do a lot of self-protection, and it has its nice features, and it has its other not so nice features. But I feel that they spend so much time in many ways almost combating their own protection, that you're not getting the full access to the horsepower that, say, you would have 15 years ago. And so you're kind of paying for a lot more technology, and it's a very, very nice tractor, but you got to know what you're buying it for. And if you have an opportunity to demo it, you definitely should. Otherwise, it has both transmissions, which is nice. On a planner, the IVT is the bomb. You just adjust this knob, set your RPMs and your speed, and you let the tractor do the rest. It's absolutely fabulous. Plus, if you have the precision seating in it, you just turn this knob and slow it down to increase your standard deviation, or lower your standard deviation, increase your population control, and then all that's, of course, built into here as well. So that is a really nice feature in the IVT. I have no problem with either. I just prefer, when I'm chiseling, to be in basically what I call the standard, so that if I want to push it a little harder, I can push it a little harder, and basically the tractor doesn't just give up on me. The Bluetooth microphone, I believe that's what that is. And so again, I apologize, I have a little throat thing going on, but I had an opportunity here to drive this and put it to the test. in some very, very heavy black dirt, some very low ground that holds a lot of water, so it gets a lot of compaction in it, and the tractor is performing quite nicely. It is burning a little bit more fuel, plus it has the DEF tank in it than the 8520, and so we're looking at probably around 0.4. Right now it's probably 0.5, which I can also see on another screen in here, gallons per acre. So if I'm burning more gallons per acre, plus I'm burning DEF, plus I'm actually at a little bit slower speed, in my opinion, because of the traction control, I'm actually spending a little more money. So you're spending a little bit more money for the tractor, and you're spending more money for the cost to operate. You got to ask yourself those questions. Now it does have an eco down here. There's an eco button. I have not used the eco button. Again, I like to push things clear to the limit and then see what they are, and if they don't break, then back them down. Now, since this is a demo, I haven't pushed it very hard, but at the same time, it hasn't given up on me in any way. It's put itself in park a few times, and this tool can do that. It's only a 5-shank 2700 chisel, but it can definitely put this tractor in its place, and the tractor just responds with putting itself in park, and then you have to reset everything and go back to park to pull it out. So if you have any questions or comments, this is a John Deere 8295. It is brand new. I have put it to the test as best as I can in the hours that I have. If there's any questions or comments, sorry, can't really see it outside, but it is dark, and I hope you can hear me on this. This is going to be a long video, yeah, it's very nice. Got a lot of nice options that I like. I love the technology. And most of it, I would just prefer, probably for what I'm doing today, I would prefer duals and a wider, more fieldwork tire instead of the row crop. But on a 16-row planter, I'd say 24-row planter, quite a bit of nitrogen on it, which we use in this area. You could probably work all day and quite a bit of comfort. A lot of groundwork, vertical till, whatnot. I think this tractor would excel. So any questions or comments, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Chamberbrake. This is one of my farming videos versus my other videos. And if you got any questions about the tractor or anything, again, I want to thank Kenfeld for everything that they did to get us into this tractor while our other one was being repaired. And how about those auto mirrors? Got to say that again. Just more things to get broken when you hit a tree and then cost you a fortune, huh? Anyway, other than that, don't have a mini fridge, but we can live with that, I guess, for the moment, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Enjoy. Forward forever. Backward never.